Good evening, Randomania and Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. We are here with the first game of the finals in the Winter Double Anti-Bingo Tournament for Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer. My name is Sir Linkalot. I am joined in the booth by Dark Moon EX. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Excited for this. What is going to be our only best of 3 in this bingo tournament, since we had a winners and a losers bracket. We could have done like the standard, winner gets a bonus on the loser and loser has to win twice or something, but we felt like it was more fair to the players and to the viewers if instead we decided to go with a best of 3 at the end to cap it, so that they both have to try their best to see who can top the other. I'm excited.
Yeah, I am too. It should be a really good match.
Mm-hmm. Deadpulse came off of our Duck Derby and is probably one of those, I don't want to say dark horses, but certainly a newer player that you want to watch for the upcoming spring tournament, because they're going to be exciting to watch. They're really good at this game. And then, of course, I feel like FizzleBeef has hit his stride here in this tournament, and he's just really good at bingo.
Yeah, we are off, and we do need to get the chips corrected, but both our runners will have to go through row 5.
Thank you. I knew I missed something. Happens every time. Here we go. Row. On it.
We got some nice level 1 magic for the black mages. Get to start with Ice 3 and Fire 3. That's pretty much going to cover almost every single monster you need to go against. Not as nice as something like Nuke, but you don't have to worry about, Pack of Undead and only having ice.
Yeah. I mean, if they came in cheap, and you've got 2 black mages, buy both for each of them. If those spells are at the high end of level 1 with the amount of money they have, buy 1 each and then maybe come back later and buy the others, or just hope you get, like, Nuke or something down the road and don't have to worry too much about it. So this is an interesting play. This is a part of I want to say, the meta that has started to evolve, I think, with our newer players and some of the other people that are playing. I wouldn't traditionally go for any sort of imp fight at the very start of the game. I don't know about you, Link, because, when I came up in the community, you just kind of ran past, and if you got imps, you reset out and try to get fast because you want to just get to Garland. But it seems like imp fights are becoming much more of a popular thing to do.
Well, I think one of the reasons why it might be a popular thing is right now they're both running with that black belt. That black belt's level 1. They both have row 5. They've got to melee the pirates down. So if there's no weapons for your, black mages or the black belt, or in Deadpulse's case, he does have a single white mage.
Mm-hmm.
Those pirates are going to take a while to kill, and that's a key item. And if it's something like, I don't know, the floater or something like that, it's hiding it, that kind of could hurt if you have to wait.
Yep. So, want to point out, we got the lute, or in the case of those using the multi-instrumentalist Sarah, the poem today, as well as the ship, so no need to walk around on the overworld. We are able to just start sailing our happy butts all over this great nation of ours. The other thing I want to note is that while Deadpulse is running with a white mage, as you said, well, FizzleBeef is going with 3-man strats. Neither of them, however, took 2 white mages, so that tile is completely locked out to them. Even with the ability to use taverns to get, like, white mages or black mages in here, because they didn't take it at the very start of Party Select, that tile is barred for them, verboten, and not allowed to be used. So call 1, row 1, and that diagonal down are all blocked.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the reasons that, my strategy, which, didn't pay off too well because I'm not playing right now. But that's why usually I would try, if I do those squares, if I could feasibly bring a party where I could highlight all those squares, I would do it at the very least. It's like I'll usually get rid of them right away in case something good is in Canary, like, a class I'd rather have.
Yeah.
But then you have that option of using that square later when it's like, hey, crap, I need a quick row or a quick column. It's like, you know what, I've already got that. It's, if you're running with a black belt anyways, chances are you don't care about most of your party members because the weights for Topher aren't terrible. Chances are Soul Black Belt is going to get you through anything Topher's throwing at you. So it's not a huge deal.
So you see our players are using spells like Slow and so forth, but they're largely going for melee here, and that is because Call 1, row 5, that first tile that is required for both of them is melee the pirates, and they have to do that to finish out their required row. This is, in case you are unfamiliar up to this point, double anti-bingo, which means one row was picked for the other players. That was, in the case of both of them, row 5, and they have to do that along with one other row, column, or diagonal of their choosing. They can choose at any time during the play today.
Yeah, and Fizzle looks like he's getting, going to take some fights to get some levels, hopefully make this fight a little bit easier. Wouldn't be surprised to see him potentially throw one of those black mages into the front row to basically just soak damage instead of the black belt soaking the damage, because that's the black mages really aren't going to be doing anything with their melee strikes, whereas that black belt, hopefully his level are going to be one-shotting pirates. Yeah, because it's like, you don't think about it too much, because typically when we get to the pirates, you've got some kind of a sweeper that's just like, hey, you're all dead. But, pirates, when you're not wearing armor, stuff like that, you're seeing hits, 6 to 11, which you don't think too much about, but then you think there's 9 of them. That turns into 54 to 100 damage at that point, which none of the characters can really survive.
Yeah, and I want to say I'm glad to have you here in the booth with me, because you provide the technical commentary I'm no good at. So we did see there for 10 grand the floater available at that shop. That is going to be nice when they can finally do it. They still don't have the canoe to be able to access it, but I believe we have Northern Docks on, and the floater dock as well, so I think they'll be able to get over there without needing the canoe.
And this would be something, you've got Fire 3 and Ice 3. Those are, other than Nuke, kind of like we brought up, those are probably the best spells you could possibly ask for when thinking about doing a pop grind for money.
Oh, yeah.
When early floater, that's definitely one of those situations like, yeah, pop grind might be a really good idea right now.
Yeah, I could see that. Like, normally I'm not much for a pop grind, and with the floater only being 10 grand, I could see being like, I'll go hit one of the other dungeons nearby. Like, I'm a fan if I can get over there of, like, the volcano play or something and try and get some money. We don't have the canoe right now. Not exactly going to happen, but you never know what could be lurking in, like, Matoya's Closet or one of the other dungeons nearby. But that floater being right there at Provoca as opposed to, like, Elfland or Canaria, it is primed for you to be like, just wander over to Pop. It's right there. It's not that far.
Yeah, if you didn't have any, like, strong spells or something like that, then you reconsider it. But with Fire 3 and Ice 3, that's going to take care of literally anything that Pop has for you. And if I'm not mistaken, the first encounter isn't actually too far off of a hard reset either, so it's not like you're sitting there wandering around for 30 to 45 seconds for that first encounter.
Yeah, if you luck out with, like, the 4 Zombles or, like, the 6-pack Frost Wolves right there, both of which would die pretty easy to the set of spells that they have right now, that would work out pretty well, honestly. I think you'd only need to kill, like, what, 2 or 3 packs before you'd have enough for that 10 grand floater. Money, like, at the scaling that we have, goes real quick.
Yeah, I mean, you look at just the pirates with the few amount of key items we have, that's already 2,000 gold. So yeah, it's like 2, maybe 3 encounters, depending on what that first one is.
Yep. LordFizzlebeef seeing the information about that floater, going to be excited about that. Now he just has to figure out how he wants to get that money. Now, with the dungeons that we have on the table right now, what is incentivized and where things will be, that is going to be Ice Cave, Ordeals, Titan's Trove, Earth Cave, Volcano, Sky Palace, and Canaria Loft. Of all of those that we have right now, the only one that's really readily available that they could, like, get progression out of the way while at the same time actually looking for treasure would be Earth Cave. But Earth Cave is kind of like Marsh Cave, but plus, or maybe Ice Cave minus. It's got that right mix of a lot of monsters with the potential for a lot of nasty spells and skills that I'd be wary of going there with a party in, like, level 5, level 6. Like, progression is there, but it feels a little dangerous.
Yeah, definitely. And Fizzle read it a lot faster than what I could read it, but it looks like, I don't know if Deadpulse checked it or not, the hint for Oxale
Deadpulse
was in Provoca.
Oh, they both have hint givers turned off at this point, so I'm guessing they're both going to be using it. I do not know whether or not they checked that.
According to Deadpulse, he cleared it very before we started, so they both they both had the idea. I'm going to be checking this, and speaking of Frost Wolves, that's the second encounter after that reset. So yeah.
And thank you for chat reminding us that Oxiel was on the Pirates. I know we forgot to report that, but that is useful to have when we finally can get over to Ordeals. I mean, not Ordeals, On-Rack. I mean, technically we could sail over there right now if we wanted, but I don't think anyone wants to do that.
I think Fizzle is about to get his 10,000 gold and then go get his 50 airship and start going all over the place.
Yeah, and he, like, as you said, that Frostwolf pack isn't that far off, and they die to a single Fire 3. This is munchable popcorn right here. I mean, that's almost 2 grand there off of 4 of them, and he's level 9. Like, the benefit of this is twofold for him, because now he's going to have some levels to go hit pretty much any dungeon he wants, and at the same time, he's got a floater, so he can go anywhere he wants.
Yep.
Yeah, and if he can get, like, 7 Frostwolves on that pack, that's just going to be delightful. Zombles take over 2 Fire 3s. This is... We'll have to see how much it's worth, but this feels like a less ideal encounter. 2,500 versus the Frostwolves of, like, 2,000 for a small pack. I'm leaning Frostwolves.
I guess the nice thing about that, though, is the fact that with only 2 monsters, you get turn order for the 7. If you do get the 7 Frostwolves and you get bad turn order, that does take a long time, though, too.
Yeah. Although this one could be kind of scary.
So I did notice, at least on that first pack of Zombles, and it's kind of the same thing, the Fire 3s were rolling low, which on that upper left one,
yeah,
they did roll low. He does have 1 more charge of Fire 3, so hopefully that's going to be enough. Which it was.
Level 11, he's going too fast. 1,500, he's got what he needs.
Yeah, that was like 6,000 plus gold. So
yeah, that was huge.
He is good for that floater now.
He's good for that. He can pick up some saving items and some potions if he hasn't already, and he can start deciding where specifically he wants to go. So, this is the interesting thing about the randomizer and about strategy. Like, again, pop grind is generally not something you want to do, and yet, because Deadpulse has been sailing around trying to figure out where to go, he's bled enough time that Fizzlebeef caught up on, what, the 2-3 minutes that, he spent trying to kill those pirates after Deadpulse had already done it. Now he has the floater, he has the money, he has these levels. It feels like Fizzle could almost be considered like 3 or 4 minutes up at this point.
I would almost say, because I need to see what Deadpulse's levels are the next time he's in the menu or when he gets a level.
11. Oh no, that was Fizzlebeef, my bad.
Okay, so they both are around 11 then?
I don't know. I read Fizzlebeef. I didn't read Deadpulse. My eyes blinked for a second.
Okay. All right. Well, Fizzle's, as noticed, like, so Fizzle's Black Belt has like 187 HP.
Yeah.
Deadpulse is around 110. So I would almost say Fizzle's slightly ahead.
Yeah.
As far as that, because he has the levels.
Yeah.
Right now. So it's like he can be a lot safer when it comes to running dungeons.
Okay, Deadpulse apparently got the floater while we were busy looking at the pop grind. So I take everything back that I just said.
I don't. I still think Fizzle's slightly ahead because he's got levels on Deadpulse. He can do stuff.
At least 3.
Like Deadpulse has that white mage.
Yep.
But I don't believe the white mage really has anything that's hugely important towards, like, I really am happy I have this white mage right now.
Yeah. No, I would agree with you on that. We haven't seen what's at Elfland just yet. There could be spells there that will make the white mage worthwhile. But it really does feel like white mage is just a meat shield be hit and then, ignore it. Well, there's the key. I guess if they'd come over here, they might have been able to hit some treasure chests this way and gotten their money, but I think long-term, Fizzle probably came out ahead.
Yeah, you're not going to complain about those levels, because, like, we've got to dive Earth, we have to dive Volcano, we have to dive... I mean, I guess we don't have to dive Sea Shrine, but if you want to be the one that decides I'm going to do my defeat Kraken with Brack on Kraken 2, by all means, go right ahead.
Fizzle was told there's something worthwhile at Canaria Castle. I didn't see what it was, though, but if he sails right over, we'll know that it's something good, although Deadpulse is here already and will let us know. Black shirt +4, and the tail. Well, that's useless. I mean, mostly useless. It's good for a little bonus experience, but otherwise useless.
I mean, it gives your black belt the ability to cast Ice 2 for a sweeper. Considering they both have the use only cursed armor highlighted, I don't know if you're going to give that up to equip that black shirt, even going and promoting after you've done your grind for your black belt.
I mean, if you're level 42, you're finding Topher to be difficult, struggling to keep your black mages alive, haven't found the opal, found that the like gold bracelets are rolling lower than that black shirt, and maybe one of the fiends just like first turn zap or something, then that black shirt could be useful. But that's like a very small contingency.
I was gonna say, speaking of a grind, I think we might have found one until the metal slimes have mute touch. And I don't know if you really want to grind on mute touch.
No, I mean, you could run from it as long as it's not unrunnable, but that is like, and the nasty thing about mute. Oh nope, here we go. This is your grind. As long as they don't have something gross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is tasty. And they die to like Ice 3 if it rolls right. Yeah. Between like 230 and 250. So yeah, that's definitely 3,300. Yeah, that's tasty. We didn't see anything nasty off of them, so still kind of waiting to see maybe. That's finger licking good right there, in my opinion. See, the problem with mute touch is that it also affects your magical items for whatever reason. So, like, if you want to be able to, say, cast your mage stick to take out these slimes, you can't. So, yeah.
You can't say the magic abracadabra words when you're using your staff, so it doesn't work.
Nope, there's no, like, trigger on it. It blocks your finger from being able to use the stick.
Now, I've been paying attention to magic shops. We're still missing confusion, I believe.
Yeah.
I think we might also be missing.
No, we did find, Deadpulse found, I didn't remember which dungeon. No, Elfland. Elfland Castle has the wizard staff.
Oh, okay, we're good there then.
We're good. So as soon as Fizzle decides to go hit that, he's good. Level 4 exit so far, and like I think Harm 4. Those are the best white mage spells we've found.
No, we have Life 2. Well, there's
Did we?
Take.
Okay.
But Life 2 was also level 4. So white mage, but they were. I mean, if you brought a red mage, they were both red learnable. So it's not even that whole. Yeah. I'm really glad I brought a white mage because, like, hey, cool, the red mage could have done everything the white mage did.
Yeah, at this point you're sitting there.
Sweepers.
At this point you're sitting there going, why couldn't I just get some like red mage spells rolled on my black mage or something? Like, why? So.
Yeah, and Demon Frog bringing up a good point too. Is he's getting all these levels on his mages? Probably just assuming I need to have a bunch of charges for things like Brack and Confusion.
Yep.
He might not even go and check that.
It's possible.
That could be a huge swing later, whereas, if you don't get that Confusion before you run out of charges, you've got to reset. Whereas if you got a Wizard Staff, you can keep doing it until you die.
Squinty scums indicate to me that I am very glad we don't have to go to Marsh Cave.
I mean, we still need a canoe, don't we?
Oh, yeah, we do, but, I mean, Marsh Cave can't have it, because it's not incentivized.
Well, why did we make the flags like that? It would have made it interesting to make them do that just for the canoe.
So, here, we were talking before this match started, as we watched, apparently, both players decide to grind on slimes or hydrants. We were talking about ways that we could, like, improve or modify this bingo format for next year, and here's one for you. Because currently we have key items set to, sorry, brain locked up for a second. We have key items set to be the experience depository. You get more key items, you get more experience. It would be interesting to me if we had, like, a way to make the black orb at at Topher free and open, but, like, the orbs themselves were unlit. That way, if you wanted to get the experience bonus, you'd have to go fight the optional fiends.
I'm sure there would be a way for our wonderful developers to program that.
I think that would be
so many
interesting.
Things where I'd be like, they couldn't do something like that. No, and then like 2 weeks later, like, yeah, we're done.
We're done with that.
Like, Okay, well then.
And that's a good reminder that if you haven't gone and explored the randomizer itself, we invite you to do so because it is, in our opinions at least, one of the deepest and most fleshed out randomizers you're going to find out there on the grand old interwebs. FinalFantasyRandomizer.com has the game itself. Feel free to check it out and maybe join the communities while you're there.
So Fizzle is done leveling up his black mages. Now his black belt is about to get nice and strong with some stakes.
I was gonna say, I think he's gonna sit here and eat steaks for a while, because like 2 punches and it's dead, max.
And that's for right now. If he goes past 32, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a one-shot when we get those that 7th and 8th hit.
Oh yeah. He's just waiting for the Tyro to kill off these black mages, and that's gonna dump like a whole ton of experience on him.
Yeah, I like what he's doing in the case that he's still just fighting and not waiting for them, because, like you said, he's probably going off that idea, I need spell charges.
Yeah.
So more experience and more levels on the black mages isn't terrible.
No,
but right now you're worried about getting that black belt to the level where it's just like, okay, I can dive this dungeon, that boss is dead when I get to it.
Meanwhile, it
everything
looks
will
like
start running from you too with a 42 black belt, because level 42 and morale does things.
I want to. Oh, that's not good. That's Perilous Cold right there with Trance. Oh, ouch.
Yeah.
That's a couple minute time loss right there. I do want to say that I think the Grey Worm tile was the multi-Agama pack. So that's, I mean, that if you're looking for a grind, that's not bad. But in the case of Deadpulse, who has the ability potentially to cast Exit afterwards, that could be tempting. It's just those Perilisks right there make that a little less ideal at that level.
Yeah, I would say if you could get there safely, then you're fine. Because the other thing, it's multi-Agama, but I know Deadpulse has this in his inventory. He has a black shirt. That's pretty much the best item you can have if you're going for an Agama grind.
Yep. Although it's equally good against those R-Hydrants as well, because they're also weak to ice. So it's like, it's kind of just what are you looking for, really, at that point?
It's just the fact that Agamas are typically safer than R-Hydras. R-Hydras have the tendency to where they can hit extremely hard. Agamas sometimes do. Sometimes we see 2 for 77, so with Paralyzed Touch on top of that. So,
That said, the Tyro here also has Stun Touch. Like, it doesn't look like it's happening very often, but still, that's a little worrying, because the last thing you want is, I mean, he's saving pretty much every time so he can get it again, but you don't want to waste a ton of time on Tyros.
Well, and one of the other things as well, and might be why we're not seeing it as much on LordFizzlebeef, is the levels.
Yeah.
So higher magic defense doesn't happen as much. Because Deadpulse is still rocking around that level. I thought I saw his black belt sitting there at 9.
Yeah.
And, Fizzle's black belt is sitting has to be close to 30 at this point.
I think he was 25, 26 last we saw. Problem is, he's starting to not get a level every time off of these Tyros.
Yeah, the lack, you can kind of notice that lack of key items. Only getting 6,000 when we're used to, getting here, depending on that scaling, like 8 to 9,000.
Yeah. I mean, his cholesterol's going up here, but his levels are not quite keeping pace. And yeah, for me, once I stop getting a level every time I fight a tile, that's when I start seriously considering walking away, because it's slowing down your grind at that point.
Yeah, it would be one thing if it was difficult to kill off your other members before you do the grind, but the fact that it's a Tyro who's gonna choose, you could just sit there and wait.
Yeah,
it looks like he might just be going back for houses and then continuing that grind potentially. But yeah, if it's easy to kill off your members, it's not a terrible thing to be like, okay, done kind of enough. I've done that kind of first grind to get me off the ground now. Let me go do everything else. But it looks like, yeah, he just went to go buy some save items and he's going, nope, yep.
Well,
and
I mean,
go back.
To look at it from his perspective, he knows that the R-Hydrants are blocked by Mute Touch Slimes, and even at level 27 now, run chance on the black belt isn't great. He doesn't know about that Agama tile, which they looked pretty skimpy at this point, and he could probably take out most of that with that black shirt. So, I mean, of the grinds that he knows about, that he has access to, this probably still seems like the best choice he has.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, right now, it's the idea that he has to also be really, he's kind of has to take 2 rounds for every, you know, unless he gets, you know, crits like that and hits for over 600 damage.
Which he'll start doing more and more.
Which he's, you know, he has been doing it to where it's 2 turns of combat for every Tyro, whereas, you know, when he was a 28, so when we get to that 32 again, that's going to halve the time of his kills. So 32 to 42, you know, might be 2 to 3 fights per level, but those fights are also going to happen twice as fast too.
So it's going to be a matter now of, like, what is the edge that Deadpulse is going to be able to build over Fizzlebeef exploration-wise in comparison to how much, like, at what point does Deadpulse have to slow down and start doing his grind, and how long is that going to take? Because we're definitely, Deadpulse has done a bit of grind, and now he is off and running. Fizzle is doing all of his time investment now, and there will come a point where they're going to start to bridge back together, and the where and the how will be the question.
Oh, Cobras have glance and hold as well.
Everything's so nice in this seed, and Danny didn't even roll it. Ooh, Grey Worms. Sometimes these can be good, sometimes they're not so good. Like, they have the ability to roll high, and it looks like they kinda did.
Worms are required, though. That's the biggest thing.
There you go. That does help him. He gets one of the 2 or 3 he has to do, so that's 1 out of the way. Decides he's going to explore the rest of the dungeon, though, which is interesting. Maybe he doesn't have the levels for exit? No, he has it.
No, he
there you go. Okay.
Does. Maybe
just wanted to
checking. Just checking the spike tile, because that could have been, you know, worm tile.
Yeah, if it was sandworms or worms, yeah, he would have been golden.
Which that kind of gets into that, like, you know, I wouldn't say it's a scary part, but it's something you have to understand when you're playing bingo is, you know, your opponent can see when you're lighting squares up. If they're really paying attention, they can kind of dictate, you know, hey, he just lit up, killed 2 different worms. You kind of, okay, these are probably the areas where he is. So I probably know where at least one of my worms are.
Mm-hmm. Ice Cave leading to the Earth Cave party pack had the ruby inside it that led directly to the rod at Titan's Trove, and now he is off and running and, you know, perfectly able to go and get that key item from the vampire and go kill Lich while he's at it. Nice. Don't really have... Like, they may have been here earlier for a grind, but they really didn't dip into here, so this is the first real dip of the dungeon that we're seeing from anyone.
Yeah, without he's been opening boxes, I just see him going right for vampire, getting the incentive, and then going for Lich.
Yep. Yeah, he still needs to do his grind, but he's otherwise going to try and just go mode this as much as he can.
Yeah, actually, yeah, I believe he has cake, so he might go for a cake kill just to get that square, but worst case, if he doesn't, with cake being level 4, you're going to have plenty of charges. You can always go for a cake on Lich too. It's not like you're trying to do Brack on Kraken too, whereas that becomes a whole different ball game when that happens.
Other thing to consider, and this is something that I do, now admittedly I got knocked out within like 3 games of the tournament, but still, I hate leaving a tile that could potentially lead to something off on the table. Like, if it's not too difficult to get a tile taken care of, may as well just do it, you know?
And actually, yeah, Jay Coper pointing this out, that might very well be what Deadpulse is going for, is that bottom left to top right diagonal.
Mm-hmm.
All he needs to do is visit Carry for every room on Carry 1 floor, which already has to go successfully confuse Carry anyways.
Yep.
So you're going to be right there, and then we've already got the Oxale. Northern Docks is turned on, so technically Deadpulse could very well be in go mode, just needs to find another worm.
Yep. Very possible.
Wizard staff, so yeah, you just need to find a worm.
I mean, you just go and hang out outside of Mirage Tower. You've got 4 different encounter zones right there. One of them's going to lead to a sandworm, you would think, eventually, so... Yeah, because he's got the Oxyale, he's got one of the 2 worms done. If he Quakes Lich, he also gets the Defeat Lich. Then he just has to go sit with that Wizard Staff, which is apparently going to be quite an edge there after exploring all of the carry floor. That carry 1 means the bottom floor of Volcano where carry 1 resides. And yeah, wow, so you said we do have Brack?
I believe that's what chat said. I don't remember seeing Brack, but they've been going quickly. And I know especially in Elfland, there's usually so much going on, it's hard to just pay attention directly to spells. So we'll have to pay attention when he's in the menus on this.
But even with a quick and fast go mode, still have to consider the fact that they have to finish Topher afterwards. They have to kill Chaos. So just because he can get into go mode now at level 20 doesn't mean his black belt's going to be in shape to actually kill Lich just yet. Or not Lich, kill Chaos just yet.
Yeah, and we definitely have brackets, right? I mean, we saw it on Deadpulse while he was fighting Lich, and Lich ate his cake, but we saw Fizzlebeef also picking up Brack at level 3.
So he's going to need to figure out where Confuse is, or he's going to need to go pick up that Wizard Stick where we know where it's at. Now, if Fizzle has gone most of the way to 42, he may feel like he can just go class change because he knows where that tail is, finding out that it's over at Canaria. And yeah, as Chad is pointing out, and I was going to mention, but we had some other things to talk about, that was a blink and you miss it Lich, as he successfully quaked Lich round 1, and got both of those tiles about Lich lit up at the same time. So, Link, you got further into this tournament than I did. If you're in Fizzlebeef's shoes, you spent like this long on a grind, you have only 4 tiles lit to Deadpulse's 6. How does that make you feel?
I'm not too terribly worried about it, knowing that he lit both of those up, so it's like, I already know where Cake is, so it's, you just need to find the rod, and that one's easy. My biggest concern would be the fact that I don't know where Confusion is, and it has to be level 7 or 8, which means I'm not going to have a lot of charges unless I really grind my Black Mages up, not to mention I might even have to do a class change.
And I think he's aiming for that right now, because he's going to grab that tail.
That's my biggest concern, and unbeknownst to him that he's walked by and he's definitely not going to be going and getting it. Considering he was at Elfland, he's not going to have the Wizard Staff that Deadpulse has.
Yeah.
So that's the big equaling factor right now, is the fact that Deadpulse still has to do a grind. And it's really how long is it going to take Deadpulse to do his grind, because he's not ready to do Topher, but he's essentially he's in go mode right now. He just needs to find that second one.
So Fizzle needs Confuse to be here or Lefane, because since they don't have Canoe, he'd have to go digging for the Canoe to get the spells at Onrak, or he'd have to sail over here. That's no dice on Gaia, so now we're going to have to see if Lefane maybe has it at level 8, but even then, oof, that's rough.
Yeah, I would hope that he just goes and promotes first. No, he's going to check. I'm surprised to not see him promote first.
Yeah.
Because if it's here, I mean, you can reset out. That's not a huge deal. But you still have to come back then. Whereas if you promote, like, your black belt's already 42. You're not worried about that whatsoever. So definitely would see him promoting first. Now, this is where I would be a little bit concerned. If this happens quickly on Deadpulse's side, you see you're going to see the visit every room on carry 1 floor.
Yeah.
Followed closely, by the successfully confused carry. That's where I'm start becoming slightly concerned.
And that's the bad news right there, that Fizzle, if he's going to go for Onrak, is going to need that Canoe.
Or he just sails there.
Which is entirely possible, but is slow.
It is, but unless you want to go digging for the Canoe, that's what both runners are going to have to do if they want to act like they're in go mode, because got the Oxsail.
So it's kind of an upside-downside, because at least he knows that it's going to be level 7, so he's not going to have to worry as much about how many level 8 charges he has to get. But still, at the same time, this is bleeding time off for Fizzlebeef.
Yeah, the scary part about carry 1 is carry 1 can roll very kind of it can be a scary carry where carry hits you for 300 to 400, and if carry decides to go after that, the white mage with the wizard staff, then yeah, but yeah.
Carry has mute touch. Kind of like what Fizzlebeef.
That's almost just as bad, even if your character doesn't die and it's 4 hits. Then
I was gonna say what Fizzlebeef kind of needs is for Carry to hit that white mage and mute them. Yeah, it looks like that white mage is gone. There will be no confusing this Carry. And he resets.
I was like, I mean, if you want to really gamble on doing that confusion on carry 2, that becomes a scary prospect. But yeah, that's what I said. Like, you have that wizard staff.
Yeah.
I know chat was bringing up, Fizzle might start checking boxes. The only problem with going and checking boxes is it's been so long.
Yeah.
Where do you're just going to start checking random boxes, and chances are it's not going to be like Elfwin.
So this was definitely the break that Fizzlebeef needed here. He needed that confusion to not happen off of the first couple rounds. He needed Deadpulse to have bad luck here. And now it looks like Deadpulse is going to sit here and grind for a little while, try and get the MDef up, so that like the black belt can't be silenced, for example, so he can just sit there with the confused stick before going and doing his punching.
Yeah, this would be where if Fizzle had that wizard staff, he would be very, very much in the lead, because he could just give that to that black belt. And I mean, Carry's got multiple hits and things like that, but you're not going to die, or that black belt isn't going to be dying, or in this case, now he's a master. He's not going to be dying to Carry in one round. So you're more just crossing your fingers that Carry doesn't just, blow up the black belt with the
Now, the black mages here on Fizzlebeef's side are sitting at like 300 health. I didn't see what kind of vitality bonus they may have gotten, but that indicates to me that his black mages have at least a decent selection of charges for the upper levels of magic. I mean, it's hard to tell when Fizzle doesn't want a menu.
I mean, yeah, even if we're like using spells in combat, he's not going down that far. So yeah, we're kind of waiting on a menu, which probably isn't going to happen until we're done in Earth's Cave.
Fizzle, go check your items, please. Or maybe like kill something so we can see a black mage level up and we know where they're at. So Wizard Staff was over at Elfland Castle in its locked treasury. As Chad has pointed out, yes, that Wizard Staff is not guaranteed, which is part of the reason why Fizzle probably isn't specifically looking for it. What we were kind of hoping was that maybe he just decided to go do a look for a ribbon or something for one of his black mages, stumbled in there, grabbed it, is happy to go, now gets his TNT. But he didn't do that for Elfland Castle, at least hasn't yet. So the chance of him grabbing that wizard stick that is entirely randomized and wasn't guaranteed to be there anyway was low, and it's now much lower.
Yeah, so his black mages are going to have a couple charges of confusion, like 2 or 3. They're sitting at one of them sitting at level 23 right now. So we'll have a few casts, but again, it's one of those things. You have limited amount of casts. That wizard staff is unlimited amounts of casts, as long as you're not muted or dead.
Yep. Now, it's not an entirely terrible ratio of the chance to hit carry with confusion, but as you can see, sometimes it can be pretty bad. Like, as with any of these instant death or other status-affecting spells, it's still a chance.
Yeah.
Or first turn.
Yeah, and now this would be the point where if I'm Deadpulse, I'm starting to be a little concerned, because you already see the hit level 30 on at least one character, so you know your opponent's ready to go into Topher, just needs to finish off. You have all the information you do about the wizard stick, the fact that you already have an airship, so your opponent has access to confusion, whether it be by the fact that they went and bought the spell, or they found the wizard staff that you have.
That black belt is sick. That's 1700 damage on like a set of punches on Astos. You're just like, ew, that's grody. Plus the Masamune too, if he wants to go Black Samurai.
Yeah, it's like, here, have the best sword in the game, but, you have a black belt that's definitely going to do more damage than that, so you probably don't need it, but here, have it anyways.
in case you really want to make sure that that Hooray Dwarf was very hooray, that he hit it 3 times. And we got Lazy Dwarfs with the TNT Dwarf having the Adamant. So it's just a basic fetch quest. Almost like we're playing Link's Awakening. And the canoe. Well, that's a helpful thing for Lord Fizzlebeef right there. Still didn't see what he has in the way of spell charges.
It looked like 3 charges on one of those mages, which
Okay.
I'm fairly certain, considering their health, they're within a level of each other, if not the same level.
Yeah. No, yeah, they one of them died off before the other one did, and I think a couple of Tyros at least were killed on them. So that's like a level or 2 difference.
So it might only be 2 charges on the other one. We'll have to see. We'll have to see when we see a menu.
Yep. So question in chat about whether casting Fire 3 yourself count as seeing a fire elemental spell. No, these spells have to be cast on you. You don't get to do that. We do have a tile specifically about cast every element of magic, and that includes non-elemental. Although some of our pedantic fans in the audience have picked on us for that one. But, no, you have to have it cast on you to see it, quote-unquote. I saw an oof in chat. I'm not sure where that oof came from.
You cannot afford confusion.
Oh, no! Well...
Might see some encounters taken here and see trying to get a little bit of money.
Encounters, and if you're still not quite high enough to get it for both of your players, go hit Mermaid side.
Yeah, but confusion was incredibly expensive too. So yeah, Caleb pointing it out. It was 49,000 for confusion, and he had 48. So
well, he has to kill a Kraken anyway. He'll get the grand or so he needs, and he's going to take these unrunnable Gersharks because he has to. So that'll be what, probably like 3 or 4 grand right there.
Yeah.
3.4. That's nice.
And it's getting more levels to the Black Wizards, so that just means potentially more charges of it, too. It's not actually surprising to see how little gold he has after his grind, because Tyros, while they are stakes, they give you a lot of experience.
Yeah.
They don't give you a lot of gold.
Well, and there's the randomizer awards, isn't it like a bonus per enemy in the pack, too? So, like, popcorn packs are worth more basic gold than a single stronger enemy would be.
That's true as well, and Jay Coper did point out, too, the fact that Lord Fizzlebeef basically bought houses for everybody in the game.
Yeah, he did. As Danny said in chat, Danny, our fabulous tracker, who's been working behind the scenes tirelessly while we just kind of have a conversation, he's playing Monopoly with all the houses he bought.
But he did pull a 15,000 gold chest out of Sea Shrine as well, so that is definitely the money he needs for this spell. Just is going to need Brack to land on Kraken, and hope that Kraken doesn't decide to, punch out your black mages.
Yep. Although he is level 25 now on these black mages as well. Like, by the time he gets back around to Carrie, to confuse her, he should have the charges for it to, at least pop a few in there. Just have to worry about that mute touch still, which he doesn't know about.
You will find out, though.
What is the chance to... Do you know this? What is the chance to confuse Carrie 2?
I don't know off the top of my head. I want to say...
Not great, I know that much.
Yeah, I want to say it's somewhere between, 10 to 20%.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So he could... it's that, was it Dumb and Dumber meme? So you're telling me there's a chance?
Yes. I mean, it's just like going to Chaos with just a solo black mage. Be like, hey, I can't fight you except for this, Brack I have. It's like, but that's only like a less than 3% chance. It's still a chance.
It's still a chance, yeah. Well, and we've seen plenty of Topher battles resolve themselves where someone managed to get the 3% Bane against Chaos. So there is a chance. It's not like it's an unbelievable, impossible chance. It can happen. I'm trying to decide whether or not, if you keep getting muted by Carrie, is it, worth it to just try and do Carrie 2 at that point? I mean, it's a really deep dive, but she won't have the mute touch.
She won't have the mute touch, but I'm fairly certain that Carrie 2 is resistant or
Okay.
it's a less of a chance, at least because of the magic defense. It's nowhere near what carry 1 is. So I believe it's more like that, like 3 to 6%. Which, you know, then you also have the idea that carry 2 might not have mute touch, but could have nukes, nuclears, all sorts of fun things that carry 1 probably does not have.
Fizzle just barely couldn't afford Confuse on his second mage. Has to go for one more fight because the game is just toying with him now. And then we'll get his final Confuse. That's a waste of probably about 30 seconds or so, but not the end of the world. And now he'll have his double Confuse, and he will only be like a step behind Deadpulse on that part, and will actually be ahead because he got the Bracken on the Kraken.
Yeah, the big thing right now is where are the worms? We need to find the worms, which you kind of have 2 options as far as trying to find worms. One of them we brought up earlier, which is just check the desert. There's 4 encounter zones. Sandworms are in potentially all of them.
Looks like he's doing that now.
Yeah, the other one is, you know, if you don't find it quickly here, the other one's just going to Topher. There's a pretty good likelihood that you might end up seeing a worm on your way down.
Yep. Tyro first turn. So we're at carry again. We're going to see whether or not we get this confusion here. And nope, immediately. Oh, we got the wizard staff on the black belt. Okay, that's good. That's good.
That makes sense to put it on like one of the people that aren't going to be targeted or will be targeted the least.
Not only that, but also has the better MDef because he ground that black belt for a little while as well.
That as well.
So, no matter what we're looking at right now, this is a very, very close match between the two of them. They're very evenly matched up.
Yeah, there's the confusion. I'm really surprised to see LordFizzlebeef specifically targeting this one zone and not going more towards like
the center.
Mirage.
Yeah,
where you can get all 4 of them immediately and just start checking them. Basically, first couple encounters are pretty quick, but after that, just how much are you going to be checking?
Well, that's the thing. When you have 4 encounter zones that can each roll with a similar selection of enemies, then if you go to that center spot, there we go. Okay, well, he got it eventually. That's what matters.
Yep. All right.
Although worth noting that he decided to put his black belt in the second slot so the worm couldn't run away, but a runaway still technically counts for a defeat against any of the enemies you fight. So even if the worm had run away, it would have been fine for him. Maybe he just wanted the experience while he was at it.
Yes, the thing I'm not sure about, unless that's why he's going. Okay, never mind. Because he didn't highlight that square. I know the gray worm that we saw
was Deadpulse. And it was the
side, and I don't think Fizzlebeef even checked.
Nope.
That spike tile, so he still actually needs a worm.
He does.
I'm guessing he's going to be going to Topher for that, or maybe getting lucky and getting a gray worm encounter on the way down, because this is where they would be.
Yeah, he could find them somewhere around here, or he could end up just picking up one of the 2 different types of worms that lurk in Topher as he wanders down through Topher. Like, I think the odds of him getting it are pretty good. Worms themselves show up at a couple different floors, and the gray worms are there on the volcano floor if he has to try for it. Now, I know that the luck he has with getting worms is bad, but...
And it only took him like 2 to 3 minutes to get the sandworm, so that's not terrible.
No. I just know that in days past, he has struggled with some of these find enemy encounters. The reason why he ended up in the losers bracket specifically was because he couldn't get one of the worms or dragons to show up, and that was just a bad day for him.
This is why we change things.
Yes, this is why we changed the tiles just a little, to try and make them slightly more manageable, even though, generally we in the community don't like changing tournaments part way in.
We made the decision as the planning committee that it was not fun for anybody involved, so we changed it so it was fun for people.
Yes! So yes, Deadpulse, as Chad is pointing out, has a much lower black belt. He could try going and doing it right now. I think he's like high 20s right now on his black belt, which is possible, especially without Masamune in his hand. But would still not surprise me if he decides to go and spend just a little more time with all the key items in his collection going and finishing up his grind before he goes in. Because Fizzle, with his 42 black belt, is like, he's not going to really have much of a struggle with what is lurking in Temple of Fiends. Just trying to get whatever worm he needs is the only thing that will be left for him.
Yeah. But Deadpulse also has to do this too, so it's not like Deadpulse has that square lit up. He's about to light up the, Bracken the Kraken, and then it's time to run into Topher to finish it off.
Yep. Oh, hey, Grey Worm! Look at that. Well, that was easy. I mean,
yep, and at this point, this is when Deadpulse is like, this is bad.
This is really bad. Yeah. So, Shahali, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong in chat, sorry. Asking in chat what Fizzlebeef was doing. He had to visit every floor on Carrie's 1's floor. So that's what he was doing. He was hitting all 8 rooms there to finish out that tile, and now he just has to successfully confuse Carrie, and he'll have 2 lit lines. Confused. Successfully confused Carrie. Fizzle has 2 lines. Fizzle is go as soon as he finishes out this fight. You do actually have to fight. I mean, technically he could just reset out now if he didn't want to deal with it.
But when you have a punch machine like that,
I know, right?
I was going to punch machine that's going to punch Carrie in one run, and then Carrie's like, nope.
I'm going to resist that. Yeah, but it's not that much slower just to go through here, and as you saw, now one of his black belts is level 27. Black mages, that is going to help as far as the experience curve and levels for that black mage, the MDef and everything else are concerned. Deadpulse's stream has stopped. Gonna give it a second and see if he comes back, but we are going to switch. Oh, there we go. He's back. Okay. I was just about to switch music on him, but then he came back, so we'll go. Oh!
So we might only have a couple more turns of trying to Bracken the Kraken, which...
There we go. Okay, problem solved. Yeah, that is one of those situations where when you see that black belt get hit, I think you sit there going, maybe I don't have the levels for this just yet.
So you know what's kind of funny? LordFizzlebeef spent as long as he did looking for a sandworm. Well, not only is there a worm here, but there was a sandworm tile in Topher.
Well, I mean, that's the gamble you play when you go hunting for monsters. So, now Deadpulse is in the unenviable situation of not only needing to get that second worm, but also deciding whether or not his levels are going to be good, and considering the fact that he got one-punched by Kraken, like Kraken 1 even, that's concerning. But he's going to risk it. I think you have to at this point.
Yeah, you see your opponent has every line lit up. You know they're in Topher at this point.
Yep.
You kind of have to hope that they just get really unlucky with something.
Yep.
And you don't.
Yeah. So, Edge is to Fizzlebeef not only because he's already on the carry floor at this point, even with a stunned black belt, but he's also in the position of having the levels and just the potential ability to make it through here.
Oh, I see what he did to help out the fact that he is missing levels. He got rid of one of those black mages and switched it over to another black belt.
Oh, that's smart. That's very smart. He revived the... I saw black belts were over at OnRack, so he revived the white mage and then brought another black belt in. That's actually... Considering the fact that his party is about, what, even mid to high 20s? That's not bad. He picks up a few of these encounters here along the way, like this worm. Could actually give him a nice bit of an edge. Like, his party won't be flattened if it loses one of its melee people, the way that Fizzlebeef's would.
Yeah, because, I mean, Black Belt does have really good MDef, but, you can get zapped through ribbons and stuff like that, so, it does happen. Hopefully it doesn't. We don't want to see something like that happen, but
yeah,
this is Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer. It has happened before.
It has. Oh, we've got Blaze here from the Lobsters on, looks like or the Sea Trolls on an ambush tile. Does manages. Okay, it wasn't an ambush, but he manages to get away. But it's gonna take a few seconds to get his party healed back up again. That could have gone very poorly. Like, you don't.
I was gonna say he's actually almost out of healing potions too, so he probably is not.
He's gonna have to man mode soon. Yeah.
Yeah, because.
Oh.
Like,
did he? I don't know if he bought any healing before he came in here.
I don't know if he did either. That depending on what happens, because yeah, I think he's only got like 8 or 9 left, so that's only 240 health that you can pick up on that master, and you want basically every little bit of health you can. When you have to fight chaos. Like, the weights aren't high, but that doesn't stop chaos from being able to do extremely dangerous things.
Jerk-like things, yeah. Although level 46 on that black belt, so just keep edging that up. Put a meat shield up front. Gonna cast fast on that black belt. We're gonna see what happens. Oh, nuclear. Well, there goes that fast. Man mode time it is. 1 punch. Well, I guess you're not gonna be committing a lot of heal pots to the rest of your party, at least.
The thing that's bad for Deadpulse, that was either LordFizzlebeef just got really unlucky, or that was a fairly evasive Kraken. 10 hits from the black belt, only 5 of them actually landed.
Oh.
And Tiamat is hitting hard.
Hard.
One shot.
That's gonna.
You got good turn order, thankfully, because that's like,
okay.
That's not what I need.
We're in it now, so he's got 500 health to take out this chaos. It's win or lose time here. Man mode it is. First punch. 8 hits, 970. Oh, and a spell. That is lovely. That's what you want to see. Not evasive, not too absorption. Just needs first turn here. Could have it. No. Oh, no!
Oh, that's, yeah, he's like, I need healing potions. I've done goofed on this.
No! Now, we did see first turn nuclear from Kraken. We did see heavy punches from Tiamat. We do know that whatever magic, I think the black belt was actually able to learn some magic, but it didn't seem like Life 2 was learnable for him. So, like, this could be bad. And his black belts aren't hitting for a lot, as you noted that they weren't going to.
Yeah, they definitely are not hitting even close to what the 42 plus black belt is doing.
Oh, but they got through. And the fact that LordFizzlebeef didn't restock before he came in here may make all the difference in the world now.
We'll see what Tia does.
I have a feeling that his black belts must be wearing some armor. Because, like, Tiamat isn't even hitting them for, like, to the point where I'd expect them to die.
That Cure 3 was timely to keep that black belt
Yeah.
up.
Well, and then not. But this other black belt should be able to get through it. Yeah, Fire 3, it's going to wipe things, but the White Mage has life, and that's going to bring the party right back up again. This is going to be very different math for Deadpulse here than it was for Fizzlebeef.
The real question is going to be, like, and he's got to get past this fight, which that evil man, even the nightmares. Okay, well, Ice 3 happens, so that's good. That was a rub.
Still not enough to take down his party, though, and he still has 3 more shots of life, so the likelihood is that, yeah, he is in a good position here. Not guaranteed. That Chaos had a lot of health, and he's not going to be punching for nearly as much as LordFizzlebeef is, but, like, this is his match to lose right here.
And he's got a nuke in the tank. We don't know what's after that. If that's something like a double nuke or nuke into nuclear, that is a.
And there's a crack too. Oh wow. Okay. Well, no more tempering if he had temper. No more fasting also. 1 punch.
1 punch for 1 and 2 for 238.
Yep.
That is Like
Good
it's
Cure
gonna
3.
be it's gonna be enough to technically get the job done with time, but as you can kind of see, Fizzle's making really
Fast
short
work.
work.
Yeah. Like, if this fight goes on long enough, he could end up catching up right at the point that, it all comes together. Really making good use of those Cure 3s, though. There's that nuke. Low roll, low roll, low roll across the board. Good luck there for Deadpulse. Keeps the party alive. Even keeps the White Mage up.
What's the next spell after nuke? Because
Oh!
we don't know that.
Once again, proving health is a resource.
Chaos probably doesn't have much more in the tank either.
There goes that one black belt. And the White Mage, so it's hold A and pray. Bane fails. Keep punching. And that's going to do it right there. Wow.
Yep. Get the GGs in chat for Deadpulse.
Wow. So I'm going to go check the room now. And that is officially, with an official, I've lost it, there we go. With an official racetime.gg time, 59 minutes and 7 seconds, Deadpulse has come in first place right here in the first of 3 of this match. Oh, and we've lost stream on Deadpulse there, so hold on 1 second. Here we go. Alrighty. And we are now into the Fizzlebeef match now. And we've got... Well, we have all our party members alive, at least. That's nice. Got Temper. Oh, he's cranking out huge damage. Yeah, like, that was definitely one of those situations where if anything had gone wrong for Deadpulse, Fizzlebeef would have it. Because what is it, like 2 punches and he won?
Yeah, I think Fizzlebeef probably needed maybe one more punch.
Yeah.
Because he already dealt over 2,000 damage. But yeah, Chaos just was smacking him around, using all his nasty spells. And yeah, but everybody get GG's in chat for Lord Fizzlebeef, who does finish with an official time of 1 hour and 1 minute even.
And we will get them in for a couple of interviews. Just sending out the invitations now.
Hello, hello.
Hello, Deadpulse. GG's. Congratulations on your first win for this best of 3.
I realized I'm like, oh, I don't have the level 30 checked off. Look at my characters. Huh, only 29. Interesting.
You got it by the end. Or no, you didn't actually, but you didn't need it.
I did not get it by the end.
You did not get it by the end, yeah. So tell us about your run. How did you feel about that?
You know, I felt pretty good. I enjoyed going into, like, we really didn't have to go anywhere. If we picked correctly and went in, got the ruby from ice, went over, turned that in, got the rod, got the TNT, you know, we were pretty much set with everything we needed. It's just that Fizzlebeef decided to light up that level 30 orb at like the 13-minute mark. And I'm like, okie dokie, this is going to be rough.
And I see we are also joined here by Fizzlebeef. GG's on that one. That was a bit of a tough break there for you at the end.
Yeah, everything that could have gone wrong did. And it's all down to if I had just bothered to top off heal potions, I would have had that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were... Link, I think we what was it, maybe like 3 minutes ahead in Topher before Deadpulse entered?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you had the definite edge there.
Yeah, but I had the Agama fight that I couldn't get out of because for whatever reason my 40-something black belt couldn't break paralyze. And then I had the Blaze sea trolls to whittle down what few heal pots I had, and then Kraken got a nuclear in before I could do anything. I was like, all right, and I limped to chaos, and it's like, all right, as long as there's no high melee or nuke or anything, I'm fine. And not only was there a nuke, it rolled in the 300s.
Yeah. So. But still, you played it through, and that's, I guess, at the end of the day, that's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, for both of you guys, any other thoughts you had on this first of 3? How you feel going into the next one?
No
I don't
thoughts
like-
that are PG rated.
I don't like feeling rushed. Like, I finished at, 59 minutes, and Fizzle was 3 minutes ahead of me.
Uh-huh.
If you can't finish this in under an hour and still win, like, that is terrifying.
It is. These are fast flags because of those free orbs.
So I assume, Fizzlebeef, you just went down to, a 2-man and took on those Agamas until Judgment Day?
No, actually, I took the hard reset on Peninsula Power was the single Tyro. I took Slimes and Earth Cave until 21, and then I just solo ground on the Tyro. I bought like 50 houses, and I just solo ground on the Tyros.
Link, you got any questions for our runners?
I guess, Deadpulse, how did you feel when you pulled the wizard staff out of Elfland armor?
Relieved. More relieved than I've ever felt in a long time. I didn't like that it didn't work the first time, but but hey, I don't have to hunt. I don't even know where Confuse was.
Level 7 on rack. You just had to promote to get it. There was no level 8 shenanigans or anything.
Promoting. Bah.
I mean, beats a grind to level 8 magic.
That is very true.
So yeah, that is one thing that I want to touch upon right there. That wizard staff, like, how good did you feel, Deadpulse, when you found that randomly at Elf Pit Castle?
It's hard. You don't have it guaranteed to find that. So finding that and then knowing I already have Brack, I have Quake, like, I'm set. I didn't need to check any other magic. It was so nice.
And then, yeah, Fizzle, you actually, surprisingly, despite the fact that you had to go for spells to get the Confuse to work, you managed to carry Confuse first, and on your first dive, no less, whereas Deadpulse actually tried once, and Mute Touch Carry had other plans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went down there with, I don't know how many level 7 charges I had total, like 6 or 7. I mean, Fiend's gonna fiend, but I was pretty confident I was gonna get it in that first dive, and I didn't want to go down there until I thought I could do it in one dive.
Did you enjoy my double black belt strats? Yeah, they were both at 28 when I entered Topher. They ended at 29, but I think the white mage was like 25 or something. Yeah, I pretty much threw one up as a sacrificial lamb, and then I kept fasting the one below it in the hopes that, I would just keep reviving the top one, rinse and repeat. Once I bracked Kraken and I knew that the black belts were in on-rack, I just switched and immediately went into Topher and said, all right, well, LordFizzlebeef's probably already in here. I got to find myself a worm, and I got to go.
Yeah.
Interesting. Did you not get the Mazza +2?
I reset out of it.
No swords. Equip no swords. I read this bingo board.
Masamoon's a sword.
Yeah. For the record, I didn't equip it, but
No, yeah.
if there was a weapon shop in Onrak, I would have entered it.
I mean, I even forgot about that, and if you'd equipped it, I don't know if I would have said anything until chat yelled at us, and that would have been really bad for your bingo board, honestly.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, like, there was a lot of good options here for the second bingo.
Mm-hmm. I was staring at column 2 unless Quake was available, and then I pivoted into the diagonal.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was also, when I saw Quake available, if I saw a poison elemental skill, I would have ignored visit every room on carry one floor.
Yep. Poison is tricky. It's one of those ones that you kind of almost always have to dig for.
Oh wait, I did see that on Chaos. It was Bane.
Oh.
There was that. But by that point, you're already,
Just mark that off right there.
All right. Well, I think we're good for this right now. You guys have your next match it's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yep.
Just going 3 in a row,
Yep.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
My schedule is butts, so this was about the only thing I could think of that made sense to propose.
Well, and I know that the next 2 matches, I believe, are on RPG Limit Break, assuming we go to 3. So, yeah, they'll same bat time, different channel tomorrow. Any final thoughts from either of you before we head on and shut this one down for the night?
It was GG's LordFizzlebeef. I don't think that could have been any closer. I look forward to tomorrow's match and quite possibly the third.
Yeah, GG Deadpulse. I got work ahead of me.
Yeah, it hurts going into a best of 3 being 1 fight down. Linkalot, any final thoughts from my co-commentator? Are you there with us? Think your mic might have died. So, yeah. So, with that, I want to thank, of course, my co-commentator, Sir Linkalot, for joining me in the booth. I am Dark Moon EX here, bringing you all the action here for this Final Fantasy Randomizer presentation of the Winter Dab Tournament, our best of 3 finale. This has been an exciting tournament, and I am so glad we have added bingo into this format. For myself here in the booth, and Linkalot, as well as Danny3883 behind the scenes, doing all of our fantabulous tracking. I want to thank you guys for watching. I want to thank our 2 runners, Deadpulse and LordFizzlebeef. If you haven't already, make sure to give them a follow. While you're here browsing the fantasticness of the interwebs, I want to remind you of FinalFantasyRandomizer.com. You can go over there, you can check out the randomizer itself, and while you're there, come join the community and the development community. See all that there is to see about Final Fantasy Randomizer. Our spring tournament will be starting up, I think, like next week, basically, once the winter dab tournament. So we'll go from winter to spring very quickly, as if we're a Midwestern state. So you can come check it out. Signups are actually open until Friday, so you can come join the community. You can immediately become a part of the spring tournament and use that as your opening gambit here for Final Fantasy Randomizer. If you're not comfortable with that, however, we do invite you to come out. We have a great new player program, the Duckling program, as we like to call it. We will be starting up the Duckling Boot Camp at the start of May, and that will go for 8 weeks, leading into our Duck Derby, which is a 4-week tournament to show off the new players and everything they've learned as they've gone through our lessons. So yes, please come join the community, be a part of all the fantasticness that Final Fantasy Randomizer has to offer. From everyone here in the community, I want to thank you for watching. Hope to see you again tomorrow on RPG Limit Break, and we hope you have yourself a pleasant evening. Thank you, and good night.